is God. Hi guys, this is Oliver and welcome to another episode of Oliver Ekman 2022 Halloween special. It's a lot of fun, as always, just like every year, reviewing horror movies, talking horror movies with you guys. In this video, we're going to review a very special horror movie, a horror classic that you may have heard of, A Nightmare on Elm Street, released in 1984. And the movie is directed by Wes Craven. And the movie is 1 hour and 31 minutes long. This movie is the movie that introduced the world to one of the best and one of the most iconic slashers of all time, Freddy Krueger. And after this movie, he continued slashing with many more sequels and a crossover between Jason from Friday the 13th in Freddy vs. Jason. Sadly, we're not going to review any of those movies anytime soon, but we will be reviewing A Nightmare on Elm Street remake later on the Halloween special. So yeah, without further ado, let's do this. Let's start with the things I really liked about this movie. First up, Freddy Krueger in this movie was played by Robert Englund, and he was really good in this movie. He was great in this movie. He really was. I really like his first entrance scene when he says, "This is God." That was awesome. And I like the chase sequence when he chases Tina in that scene. It was really cool. It really was. A great way to introduce a slasher. But in the beginning of that chase scene, he was kind of like running like a drunk dude. It was kind of weird. And I love when he pops out of the tree. That was really cool. And that scene was when Tina died, and then she raised up from the sky, and it was like blood everywhere. That was scary. That was pretty creepy and like very well made. It was very well made. That's one of the best things about this movie. It's like the practical effects movie look amazing. I mean, really, they do. It's like this movie came out in 1984, which is a long time ago, and the visual effects still hold up to this day. The bathtub scene in this movie, it's one of the most iconic scenes in the movie. It's the best scene of the movie in my opinion. And I love when Nancy gets like dragged down from the bathtub. But that was awesome. It was epic and awesome. It really was. And I really like the characters in this movie. Wes Craven did a great job with the characters. I really like Tina in this movie, and it's like they introduced her in the beginning, like if she's going to be like the main character of the movie, but then 30 minutes later into the movie she just died. And I really like Nancy. It was a bit annoying at times when she was like screaming all the time in every scene, but besides that, I really liked Nancy. And Johnny Depp was in this movie, Jack Sparrow and Grindelwald. He was really good in this movie. It's awesome that Johnny Depp was actually in this movie, and if you barely recognize him except for his face, it took me a while into the movie when I actually recognized his face, and I was like, oh my god, Johnny Depp is in this movie. That was awesome. One of the funniest things about this movie is that there were a lot of things in this movie that I recognized from Stranger Things. Like a lot of stuff that was copied in Stranger Things from this movie. It wasn't a rip-off of Stranger Things because Stranger Things came out in 2016 and this movie came out in 1984. So obviously Stranger Things copied from it. But I like all the references that Stranger Things bought from this movie. A lot of stuff that I recognized. Like for example, the scene when Nancy was sleeping and then Freddy Krueger's hand came out of the wall. That was awesome. Visually, it looks great. And that reminds me a lot of it in Stranger Things when the Demogorgon's hands are coming out from the wall. That's the exact same thing. And the main character of this movie, her name is Nancy, which there's a character in Stranger Things named Nancy also. So yeah, Freddy Krueger in this movie was played by Robert Englund. And Robert Englund was also in Stranger Things. And the scene when Tina dies in the beginning of the movie is basically exactly the same from the scene when Chrissy dies in Stranger Things. Like now that I think about it, it's like the exact same scene. And for the scene when Freddy Krueger gets defeated by fire is the same way Vecna was defeated in Stranger Things by being defeated by fire. So both Freddy Krueger and Vecna were defeated the same ways. And for me as a Stranger Things fan to watch this movie, noticing these details, that's actually really cool. And for the scene when Johnny Depp dies, and then there's a hole he gets dragged down from his bed. That was very well made. That was a really cool scene. It was a very sad scene because I really like Johnny Depp. He was one of my favorite characters in this movie. So to see him die, that was so sad. It really was. Especially for me as a Jack Sparrow fan. I love Jack Sparrow. He's so cool. So that was very sad to see, but it was a well-made scene. It was one of the most iconic scenes in this movie. It was awesome, but also very sad. Rest in peace. And Nightmare on Elm Street was really good, but one of my only complaints with the movie, one of the things I did not like about this movie was I wasn't the biggest fan of the ending. The ending was, it left me, after watching the movie, it left me with more questions than answered, and it was pretty stupid. It was kind of stupid. I think that the scene when Nancy scares away Freddy, I think that should have been, if that should have been the ending to the movie. That could have been a good way to end the movie, to end the story and stuff like that. But then they just have to just shit something out last minute. Or the only thing I liked about the ending is that I really like that the Freddy Krueger car cover. That's kind of cool. Like if you're a Freddy Krueger fanboy, then if you should get a car like that, I dare you. The ending jump scare, it was a good jump scare. It really was. And it was a cool way to kill somebody with the door covering like that was really cool. It really was. But like one of my biggest complaints with the ending is that kill, that was awesome and a really good jump scare. But I just think it's like one of the best things about this movie is that it practical effects and so that, and it still holds up to this day. But that's the only scene that doesn't hold up. It looks pretty fake now. It might have looked awesome when it came out back then, but now it looks kind of stupid. But besides that, it's a really good movie. I really liked A Nightmare on Elm Street. It was really good. It's a horror classic that I highly recommend. If you haven't seen this movie, go watch this movie. So good. It's streaming on HBO Max. And there are also a lot of other awesome horror movies on HBO Max, like The Shining, Dr. Sleep. I highly recommend getting HBO Max. It's a great streaming service. It has Zack Snyder's Justice League, the best movie ever. And it has Peacemaker, one of the best show ever. Get HBO Max right now. Or I'm not sponsored, but I wish I was. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys next time. This is God.